didn't want to group.
Dude, the thing is, when I play a mage, or sorry, when I play a bruiser, a frontline bruiser, right? I kind of assume if I engage the fight, my entire team will engage the fight, you know? Because, like, I'm the tank, I make the call, right? And so when I get the pull on their Senna, their extremely long-range Senna, who's been fucking us all game, and he sits back because he's like, oh, that's a bad play. It's like, well, yes, now you have forced it to be a bad play by not going with me when I initiate. Like, that's kind of the problem, isn't it? Honestly, one of the biggest problems I have, and I'll tell you this, like going to Aatrox and playing mostly Aatrox after playing other bruisers, biggest problem I have, when I play Jax and we lose an inhibitor, I go, okay guys, let's rally, let's farm these supers, and let's get back in the game. When I play, geez, I don't even know. When you play like, basically any of these champions, it's like, let's rally, we'll pull this back in the late game. When you play Aatrox, first off, he can't kill super minion. Like, he just fucking can't, so good luck. Second off, he's not good late game, so you don't really have, like, a rally, you know? Like, when you play Camille, okay, great, let's rally late game. You play Jax, okay, let's rally late game. When you play even Kled, you know, Kled sucks late game. You can still be like, you know, let's rally late game. But when you play Aatrox, it's like, well, you don't have a late game. So if they get the advantage, it's just like, you just like, it's, I don't know, it's demoralizing.
I feel like he's one of those champs that's balanced around pro play. Because in pro play, if you death ball around an Aatrox, like there wasn't really much you could do. Remember when Aatrox was Giga broken? And so they nerfed him to the point where he's more like balanced in pro play, but that just makes him weaker in solo queue environment.
I've made him weak in
people
both.
Don't play around him.
The real problem is that they removed a lot of the shit that made him broken in pro play. And before they did that last nerf, the problem, and I think even Riot themselves have admit this at this point, is that they didn't even nerf him for being overpowered. They nerfed him because he was a safe and consistent first pick with very few bad matchups. So they nerfed him to where he has bad matchups to where you can't first pick him. But he's not really, like, he wasn't really particularly overpowered. Like, yeah, was he top tier? Yes, but there's a difference. I always say this, there's a difference between being top tier and being overpowered. Like, compare Akali to, like, even if you compare Akali to other top tier champions, you'll notice a very wide gap in power.
True. He considered a juggernaut though.
Yes, Aatrox is considered a juggernaut.
Most juggernauts don't really get much mobility, and he's got like actually solid mobility. So it's probably why they lowered his damage compared to the other ones.
He has mobility, but the thing is, his mobility tends to offset how immobile his Q is, so to speak. So he has mobility, yes, but like, that's how way to put it. Like, if you compare Aatrox's mobility to any other champion with mobility who doesn't have that giant ass spam Q, you'll notice a very large difference. Like Jax, Jax jumps on you, beats the shit out of you. I mean, I'm just gonna look at like the top pick rates here. So like Akali, yeah, like way more mobile. Rise, you can make the argument for that.
Let's talk about Akali in a second, actually. But
yeah, talk about Akali. She's busted. No, I'll say this every time. The problem with Akali, they gave her low armor under the basic lie that, oh, if you hit her, she'll take damage. But then they just gave her so much mobility, so much stealth, so much escape move that no one can hit her. So the low armor is a lie, because no one actually can hit her.
It's more like, yeah, I agree with that, but I feel like one of her other problems is like her shroud actually goes up in duration and cooldown. So like if you make her shroud early game, it actually kind of feels meaningful. But as you go to late game, it lasts for fucking 7 seconds. And she only needs like 1 second to kill you. So I just don't understand that. And also, her Q does like 3 times the damage that it used to for some reason this patch. I don't know.
It's because
she's killing me in like 2 Qs and it's doing like 1300 damage consistently, like every time I fight her.
Straight up Conqueror, and it's simple math. Like, you can math it out yourself. Conqueror was buffed on every magical damage champion in the game and nerfed on physical damage champions, with the exception that physical damage champions are slightly better early game with it. If you look at magic,
I actually felt that.
If you look at the magic damage champions using Conqueror, like, even this fact you can bust out Swain now. Like, you can bust out Swain top with Conqueror, and he'll chunk people. Maybe not level 1, sure, but like once he reaches level 9, when his Q actually goes to the 4-second cooldown, you'll notice it all the time where, like, on a champion who's supposed to be a low AP ratio, low damage champion, not even meant to be played solo, meant to be played support, he can just start chunk citying people. Just he gets so much ability power off it. He gets so much healing. It's funny, I've started to pay attention to my post damage recap, and in a team fight where, like, if I die quickly on Aatrox and they bring Ignite, I'll typically, like, if I have 2,000 HP, it'll take like 2,500 to kill me, right? I'll heal about
Yep.
500. On Swain, I've had fights, I'll have 2,000 HP and it'll take 7,000 to kill me. And that's not even an exaggeration. Like,
Because let's say you have 50 stacks, he gets 5 health per stack, right?
yeah.
And then it doubles when he ults. That's 500 extra HP
Yeah.
just for pressing ult. You
And
just
then
get 500 HP.
your ult is healing you 35 plus 0.16 AP per target. If you're hitting 3 targets, if you have Hourglass, I mean, that's
Not Conquer healing.
Yeah,
which
that's
is
105.
better than Gunblade. Conquer actually doesn't have a healing reduction for AoE spells. Did you know that?
No, I've known that.
Yeah, like Ghost,
No, that was
Gunblade
that's
and Death Dance have reduction.
it's
That Conquer
because
doesn't.
Conqueror isn't supposed, because okay, the thing is Conqueror was originally supposed to be a bruiser keystone, right?
Yeah.
And the thing is, a lot of bruisers, a lot of their damage is AoE to try to make them better in team fights, but it's not really AoE, if you know what I mean. Like, Renekton's E is AoE, but
It's like, yeah. I know what you're saying, yeah.
and
It's
so
AoE, but you're not focusing. You're not going for AoE. Like,
Yeah.
You're like, oh, they're clumped up. I'm Renekton. Let's go in.
yeah, and the problem is they took something designed for bruisers, pushed it to everyone else, and now, obviously, you have a keystone for people that it was never meant for, who are now abusing the fuck out of it.
I mean, they're gonna have. I'm pretty sure they're nerfing it next patch.
I
There's no way. Like,
I think they're gonna nerf it for everyone, and the mages will still end up being the best users, and range mage users will be the best users, and
I think adaptive is a mistake.
oh no,
in the
I think
system.
honest to God, I feel like adaptive is incredibly rigged. Like it's the problem is, okay, let's say you get the late game, right? It's 50 AP versus 30 AD, which is already rigged. But then you consider that every mage has a death cap, so it's actually more like 70 AP versus 30 AD on Conqueror. And it's just like, that's not fair. That's blatantly one-sided.
Yeah, no, conquer. I mean, adaptive is just super imbalanced. Like, it's just like, here's your stuff you want as an AD champion, and then here's mages. Here's it for mages if they want it better.
Yeah. No, I've thought the adaptive formula has been rigged as shit since day one. I think they need to bring it. The problem is
I
that
hate the rune system.
the problem is that AD is worth more early game before people get all their abilities, before they get their cooldown reduction, etc. But ability power is worth more late game. And the second problem is, as I said before, they don't balance for the late game. So they don't care if Deathcap and Void Staff make every single mage in the game a late game carry, because they go, well, who cares about late game?
I mean, I feel like half the league champs are balanced around late game, actually.
No, like, they actually just don't care is the problem. Like, they literally don't give a shit.
I think there's a lot of champs, though, that are like complete dog shit early because they scale really consistently well, even well behind.
I'm looking at it. So if I'm looking at Masters Plus, okay, and I'm looking at let me look at ban rate. So currently ban rate, number one is Senna, which is obvious. That champion's busted. Any champion, I tell you this right now, any champion that gets 50% win rate right after release is it just imbalances shit, mega broken. That's just
I mean, Heimer's the best champion in the game right now.
Heimer's incredible. Kiana still hasn't been nerfed. I don't.
They actually did do like a really meaningful nerf recently. They nerfed her Q by 20.
They
That like really fucked her one-shot window early. So if you're a champion that either outranges her or has sustain, she can't actually do anything to you. But her problem isn't really her lane phase, because they nerfed her lane phase with that. Her problem is she can River W like EQ you that has an aimbot for some reason. So you guaranteed snare into an ult. That's a knockup. and there's no counterplay. So no matter what, no matter how far Kiana's behind, no matter if you get the jump on her, she always gets her burst off before you, and then she can just like, for example, sit and fucking invis
The
with the fucking thing.
You know what's funny about that is I thought Riot had learned their lesson. If any champion for sure guaranteed gets the first burst, they're gonna be broke. Okay,
Almost a
so the
year
whole
with the
thing
super
that made
tough.
Talon so broken was his gap closer was an instant teleport, point and click that also silenced, right? So if you traded with Talon and he ended up at 1/4 HP and you ended up at 2/3 HP, you ended up losing because next trade he comes in, insta silence, ult combo, you're dead, right? And it was just so broken. No champion should be guaranteed to get the first burst. It's just broken.
I mean, you say that they learned this, but like I'm pretty sure the balance team has like changed since
Oh
then.
yeah, no, I mean,
So it's not really like it's just new people are here. I think
you
that
actually
haven't learned
can
this.
see that because every couple of years they'll make the same mistake with the same champions. The way I always put it is we've changed nothing and they're still broken. How could this happen?